How's that Biden administration working for you? Hmm? Man, bad stuff. Incredible show for you today, though. We've got Josh Mandel, who could very well be the next United States Senator from Ohio. He's got some real serious problems with what's going on in Afghanistan right now. Also, we got Steve Billingsley. He is from here in the Valley, and he is one of the political prisoners that were involved with the January 6th trespassing protest in our nation's capital. Wait till you hear what Steve Billingsley is going to tell you about what the feds did to him and his family, how they targeted him. It is chilling. It is beyond belief. Also, we've got another great guest for you, and that's Greg Wrightstone, a geologist who really understands climate change and global warming and the Green New Deal. And now CBS is reporting that climate change was partially responsible for the success of the Taliban. I know it sounds insane, but these people are insane. Also, we've got Major General retired Jeff Sloesher. We've had him on before. He was the person in charge of the 101st Airborne in Afghanistan. We'll be talking with, also he's the author of the runaway bestseller Marathon War. We'll be talking with him about what on earth can we do now in Afghanistan, especially with the airbornes, to try to save as many Americans as we can. What a mess. God, what a mess. Also, the Alex Coogan Business Show after the 9 o'clock news, exclusively on the Facebook page of 106.3 The River. An incredible show for you today. I'm so glad you joined us. First thing we always have to do is share this everywhere. And so if you could just go to the Facebook page of 106.3 The River, which is what I'm doing right now. Here is the page. You're going to hear me talking. Shut up, you idiot. All right, then scroll down to where the Facebook live stream is. And then we're going to share quickly and then get right into the show. Our executive producer, Jake Owens, is reaching out right now to Josh Mandel. And so we'll be getting him on shortly and go from there. You're on hold again?
Here, I'll let you listen.
No, I don't. I've got to do this. All right, so let's do share to news feed. And let's say add something. Please share. All right, I'm going to do this to Dimitri's news feed. I'm going to ask him to do the same for yours. I'm going to post this. So we posted that. I got the ringer turned off. Try this again now, posting this to our group, which is Make the Valley Great Again. And going to add, please share. So we post that.
15 seconds.
One last time, we're going to share this with the, all right, we're in good shape here. All righty. We're getting ready to go here. Here we go. Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9. And Alexa, Open River Talk, a Dimitri 2020 LLC program. Well, how's that Biden administration working for you? Can you believe what's going on in Afghanistan? Well, I can't. Neither can Josh Mandel, who might very well be the next United States Senator from Ohio. We have a scheduled live exclusive interview. We're reaching out to him right now. Has he answered his phone yet?
Still on hold.
Oh,
you should hear this, guys.
No, I don't want to hear. I can't. No, we can't do this. All right, so we might have Josh Mandel. Also, we've got Steve Billingsley. He's a local guy here in the Valley, and he is one of the people who is a political prisoner who's been targeted by this federal government of ours, which is weaponizing anyone who supported Trump. Wait till you hear what Steve Billingsley has to say about what the feds did to him and his family, targeting him and his home right here in a 106.3 listening area. It's unbelievably chilling, horrible stuff. Also, we've got a great geologist, Greg Wrightstone, author of Inconvenient Facts. This guy understands global warming and climate change and the hole in the ozone layer and all that stuff, inside and out. And he'll be talking with you about how the Green New Deal is going to be devastating our area. So we'll be talking with him about that. Also, we've got Major General Jeff Sloesher, retired 101st Airborne, had been in Afghanistan. We'll be talking with him about how Can some of the airborne units save Americans who right now are essentially being held hostage by the Taliban? And another great guest for you, Alex Coogan, the Alex Coogan Business Show on the Facebook page only of 106.3 The River. If you want to know what's really good, we got him. We got John. Okay, we got him. If you want to know what's really going on, you keep it right here. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa, open River Talk.
Here's your 106.3 The River's weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Dimitri live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa, open River Talk. Josh Mandel. He completed 2 terms, treasurer, state of Ohio, apparently did very, very well. Now he's running for the Republican nomination for United States Senate of Ohio. I think he's got a pretty good chance. Sure seems that way anyway at this point. And he is our very, very special guest, Josh Mandel. Welcome back to 106.3 The River. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm great, Dimitri. How are you?
Very troubled, very disappointed looking at some of these pictures, including that iconic one of that little baby, Afghanistani baby being handed to the Marines as people are trying to evacuate. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Now, I know you've served your country with several tours of duty in the Middle East, and your people reached out to my people asking to come on and talk to everyone here in the Valley about what's going on in Afghanistan, given your unique perspective, given that you've been over there with tours of duty. Josh Mandel, what the hell is happening in Afghanistan today?
It's depressing, it's enraging, and it's just sad. So I was in the Marine Corps. I did 2 tours in Iraq, and obviously have a lot of buddies who I served in Iraq with who went on to serve in Afghanistan. And I guess I'd start, Dimitri, with quoting Joe Biden when he was running for vice president, when he was on Obama's ticket during the vice presidential debate in 2008. He said, quote, "How we leave Afghanistan makes a big difference." And I think today we're seeing the results of his complete ineptitude and failure as a leader. If Biden would have followed President Trump's strategic plan to withdraw in May, today would not be going down in history as Saigon 2 or Joe Biden's Saigon. If he would have followed the May withdrawal plan, things would have turned out so much differently for many reasons. One of the reasons, though, is in war, terrain, ability to traverse terrain, and weather are important components. And because Afghanistan is so difficult to traverse, so mountainous, and the weather is so unpredictable and difficult, the reality is the springtime is not fighting season for the Taliban, whereas right now, Dimitri, we are in the middle of fighting season. On top of that, Biden's decision to abandon Bagram Air Base, I believe, will go down as one of the worst decisions by a commander-in-chief in the history of the United States. The fact that he closed down this air base, he voluntarily abandoned air superiority and access to an airstrip before every American citizen, not just military troop, but citizen, was evacuated, is just inexcusable and outrageous.
No question. Help me understand something. How is it that we have left anywhere from 10 to 15,000 American citizens there in Afghanistan. I can't even wrap my mind around this, Josh Mandel.
I have difficulty wrapping my mind around it as well. And let's call them what they are right now. They're hostages.
Yep.
They are, especially the women, American women, who are now going to be forced to live under Sharia law.
Oh,
And for your listeners who aren't familiar with Sharia law is a Muslim law that states that if a woman is found to have painted her nails, nail polish,
yep.
she shall have her fingers chopped off. Muslim Sharia law that says if a woman is caught laughing in public, she shall be beaten. Muslim Sharia law that says if a school educates a female student, it will be shut down. And it goes on and on and on. And a hijab, which is just a head covering under Sharia law, under the Taliban is not enough. They have to wear what's called a burqa, the full body covering. You can just see the eyes. And you're going to have all these American women being forced to live under those rules because Joe Biden is leaving American citizens behind. Imagine if you're a kid and you're from Steubenville, Ohio, or Wintersville, Ohio, or St. Clairsville, Ohio, and your mom works for a nonprofit organization, an NGO in Afghanistan that was educating girls in a girls' school, and maybe it was working on agriculture and the economy there and helping the locals. And you've got to go tell this 8-year-old kid that he might never see his mother again because the president of the United States is leaving her behind in Afghanistan. Dimitri, it's blood boiling, it's enraging, and it's antithetical to everything we stand for as Americans. As Americans, we never leave a brother or sister behind, and Biden is violating that first and important rule.
Well, let me correct you on one thing, if I may. By the way, if you've just tuned in, this is a live exclusive interview with Josh Mandel, former two-term treasurer, state of Ohio, who is now running for the Republican nomination of United States Senate in Ohio. I think he's the front runner. I think he has a good chance of winning, and then in the primary and also winning in the general election against probably Tim Ryan. Let me correct you one thing, though. Leaving Americans behind apparently is not such a horrible thing, at least in the mind of a lot of people in government and a lot of people in the media. I know I can name at least one other time recently where we left Americans behind. Our federal government did that, and that was Benghazi. We left 4 Americans behind. Hillary Clinton essentially said that at this point, what difference does it make? Paraphrasing here, but that's essentially what she said at the Senate hearing. And no one seemed to really give a rat's ass about them. So is this possible? This could be Benghazi times a million, Josh Mandel?
It is, Dimitri. That's very well said. It's exactly what Hillary Clinton communicated to these Americans, to their families, and to the world, that she had no problem leaving them behind in Benghazi in Libya, and now Biden. And a lot of the same Hillary Clinton advisors who are throughout the Biden administration in the State Department, in the Pentagon, and elsewhere are saying the exact same thing.
Yep.
It's it makes me so angry, fist clenching, blood boiling angry that they're leaving Americans there. And they're hostages. I mean, let's call what they are. These Americans who are being left behind in Afghanistan they're hostages of the Taliban.
Yeah. More with our live exclusive interview with Josh Mandel. He is running for the Republican nomination for United States Senate of Ohio. More with him in just a bit. Let me just check with my show producer, Jake Owens. Do we take a commercial break and then I do the personal, start doing the personal endorsements? Is that what we do?
We're gonna do one right now, and then
Okay.
we're gonna come back to one.
All right. Let's see. We're going to do, is it Jake?
PWJ man.
PWJ man. All right, fine. We will do that, and then we'll make do we make the big announcement about the new advertiser, the next
That
new
is
advertiser?
correct.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. All right, full disclosure, paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to read you this if I did not believe in it. PWJ Man Enterprises is your complete home improvement center, and I'll tell you why in just a few seconds. PWJ Man Enterprises is Paris White, and he's been in the home improvement business for more than 30 years. Impeccable reputation and licensed and insured in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. You'll have no worries or issues with PWJ Man Enterprises. He'll turn down no job because PWJ Man Enterprises has done every job there is. In fact, he'll challenge you to come up with a task he can't do for you. Contracting, home remodeling, lawn care, landscaping, wells, and fencing. PWJ Man Enterprises can do that. Electrical, plumbing, patios, and retaining walls. PWJ Man Enterprises can do that. Pressure washing, PWJ Man Enterprises can do that. Rental property maintenance and management, PWJ Man Enterprises can do that. And here's the good part, PWJ Man Enterprises shows up on time and returns calls. PWJ Man Enterprises saves you money and time since you can get all your home improvement jobs completed with one person. And that one person is PWJ Man Enterprises, your complete home improvement center. Find Paris White or PWJ Man Enterprises online at pwjmanenterprises.com, pwjmanenterprises.com. And when you do, make sure you tell them Dimitri sent me.
Clear.
Okie dokie. Yeah, this is Benghazi times a million. This is friggin' unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. Oh, God. Do you want me to put him back up and you pot him down there so I don't screw up? Can I do that now?
Yeah, give me
Okay,
1
sure.
second.
Sure. All right. And let me get the next advertiser, another new advertiser. We're very, very excited about this. So we'll tell you about that and also the Donald Trump anthem, which is going to be coming up here too.
Okay, I
Back
got him.
here. All right. Fine.
Which we already had him up like that, so we're good. He's muted and everything.
Okay, he's muted. All right.
Yep.
So you're going to unmute him?
I'll
You can do
unmute
that?
him.
Okay, great. So how are we doing on time here?
Roughly 45 seconds.
Great.
So I'm gonna hit a bumper. We'll do that, and then we'll go to weather.
Okay, bumper, then we do the new advertiser, then go to weather. Okay. I've never seen such a royal mess with the federal government in all my life. I swear to God, this is unbelievable. This is friggin' unbelievable.
When I heard there was people trapped and they were just doing nothing.
Thousands of Americans. Yeah.
What are we doing? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Man, his mind is shot. These guys don't know what they're doing.
all right, you ready to come back?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Full disclosure, this is a paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this about our brand new advertiser. Yeah, it seems like almost every week we have new advertisers, and we got another one today. That's the power of this show. And that is Oil and Gas Safety Supply. That's Oil and Gas Safety Supply. That's at the Ohio Valley Mall, 67681 Mall Road in St. C. Do you remember where the Toys R Us store used to be, this massive store? Well, now it's the massive Oil and Gas Safety Supply store. And listen to this. This is important. They have a warehouse clothing clearance sale going on right now. Warehouse clothing clearance sale right now. And this is not just any warehouse. This warehouse is 20,000 square feet. This thing is beyond huge. The doors open at 10 o'clock. Let me give you some idea of some of the incredible buys with the warehouse clothing clearance sale for Oil and Gas Safety Supply. $5 safety tees, $5 men's work shirts, $5 men's flannels, $40 camo jacket, $1 women's tees. $5 tie-dye shirts. Did you get that? Did you hear that? Well, let me just give that to you one more time. You've got $5 safety tees, $5 men's work shirts, $5 men's flannels, $40 camo jacket, $1 women's tees, $5 tie-dye shirts, all at Oil and Gas Safety Supply. The warehouse clothing clearance sale going on right now. It opens at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're there, right there at 10 o'clock. Also, this is also very, very important. In light of what's going on in Afghanistan right now, we're going to have a new feature starting this morning on Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local. At the end of the show will end with the Donald Trump anthem. And that Donald Trump anthem is brought to you by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. Another exclusive feature for you here. And when you go to Oil and Gas Safety Supply, especially today, starting at 10 o'clock, and you get these incredible values with his warehouse clothing clearance, make sure you tell all the beautiful babes there that Dimitri sent me.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9. And Alexa, Open River Talk, a Dimitri 2020 LLC program. Live exclusive interview with Josh Mandel, former two-term treasurer, state of Ohio, now the front runner by any indicator for the Republican nomination for United States Senate. He'll be going up in the general if he wins, he'll be going in the general election against, I believe, Tim Ryan out of the Youngstown area. So Josh Mandel, let me ask you this. Have you heard, and this just amazes me, I've not heard of any Democrats, including your probable opponent in the general, if you win the primary, Tim Ryan, Congressman Tim Ryan, having said much of anything about this utter mind-blowing catastrophe, including thousands, maybe tens of thousands of American hostages in Afghanistan. Has he said or done anything, or have you heard of any Democrat who has said or done anything defending this administration?
The silence from Tim Ryan is deafening. Same from AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. You know, Dimitri, these ultra-liberal Democrats, they love to lecture us about multiculturalism and tolerance and diversity and Islam, but we're about to see live on TV the brutality of Sharia law and the brutality of radical Islam. And yeah, I actually tweeted at Ilhan Omar and I said, hey, cat's got your tongue, because she's completely silent. And if Tim Ryan, who's going to be my Democrat opponent, if he had any guts, if he had any cojones whatsoever, he'd stand up and be outraged as an American that American citizens are being left behind in Afghanistan. But remember, Dimitri, these guys don't pray to the altar of Christianity or Judaism. They pray to the altar of liberalism. And when they pray to the altar of liberalism, they have no foundation in God, no bedrock of Judeo-Christian values, and they have no moral compass whatsoever.
Let me ask you this, Josh. I'm amazed because of the stories that I've been reading in the alternative media, is that the United Kingdom, the Brits, and the French are sending paratroopers, airborne, going into Afghanistan to help save their citizens. And yet we are not doing that. Now, given your background, 2 tours of duty as a Marine in the Middle East, can you help me understand why our United States government, our military, is being shown up by the Brits and even the French? I can't wrap my mind around this, Josh.
Listen, in another generation, Dimitri, the World War II generation, that greatest generation, were it not for Americans in that generation, they'd be speaking German in France right now. And now, just a couple generations later, to see the French showing up Joe Biden's military, the greatest military in the world, the United States of America, it's just, it's embarrassing, it's blood boiling, it's enraging. And just think the message that Biden is sending to the rest of the world when he leaves behind Americans as hostages in Afghanistan and says to their families in the entire world, he doesn't care. He's just going to leave them behind to be slaughtered. Think about that message. It's just, I struggle to find the words that describe how angering it is, not just to me, Dimitri, but I think to all of your listeners and to Americans everywhere.
Yep. Now, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. I actually think, at least I hope, that he and all the others in the administration care, at least to some degree, about fellow American citizens. But for the sake of discussion here, what I think is actually much worse is that the president and his spokesman with the Pentagon, with the State Department and all that, they all have said the same thing. And that is essentially, we couldn't do anything else. We're doing the best we can. And you know what? I actually believe them. But when you stop and see the utter catastrophe that is Afghanistan, and you know how it could have played out so much better with any kind of a thoughtful plan, I mean, this actually is, honest to God, the best these guys can do. Take them at their word. Josh, do you actually believe them when they say this is the best they can do?
I don't. I don't, Dimitri. I mean, listen, Joe Biden is inept. Joe Biden is incompetent. I think we can all agree he's not all there mentally. He's not the man he once was. But I have all the confidence in the world in junior Marines and junior soldiers and junior sailors and junior airmen. And I just, it's for him to say that he has no ability whatsoever to rescue Americans when he's rescuing Afghanis. He's putting Afghanis for Americans, Dimitri.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
inexcusable.
Yep.
And it's just not right.
Yep. And these Afghanis, by the way, many of them are not even people who worked with us. And these poor bastards who worked with us, I mean, for us to abandon them is terrible. But many of these Afghanis are refugees, which is a whole different story than the Afghanis who actually worked with us. And here's the other thing, Josh, and we're almost out of time, and I always give my guests the last word, but I had to run this by you because all of this, I'm just losing my mind over this. Live exclusive interview, by the way, with Josh Mandel, who could very well be the next United States Senator from Ohio, here on 106.3 The River, Dimitri, live and dangerously local. The Biden administration said that it would charge up to $2,000 for airfare for Americans who are leaving Afghanistan. That is, if we're going to be saving any Americans, they have to pay up to $2,000 a person for the flight to freedom from Afghanistan. Now, there was so much blowback from that they have now said, well, maybe they don't have to pay $2,000. Meanwhile, all the Taliban, all the Afghanis are being flown over for free. In what universe does this make any sense where you're charging American hostages for the privilege of being flown to freedom?
Right now, listening to you is the first I've heard of. Is that really happening? Or
Of course, no. Of course it's happening. They backed off from it but absolutely it was happening, up to $2,000 per American. Oh, in fact, I'm going to send you this during the commercial break here. I'm going to send it to you and Jared and to Charlie. It's Josh. I could talk with you like forever about this, but we're almost out of time. Now, look, I always give my guests the last word to speak directly to all of the untold tens of thousands of listeners and Facebook friends that we have. You've got about a minute to speak directly to them. You can say pretty much anything you want, but no cursing or else I get in big trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, quite possibly the next United States Senator from Ohio, Josh Mandel. My microphone is yours.
Thanks, Dimitri. I believe in Washington, the time for bipartisanship is over. The time for civility is over. And now is the time for fighters. If we're going to combat and defeat the radical left and the secular left that's trying to take God out of all aspects of our life, if we're going to defeat these squishy establishment Republicans who care more about being liked and getting invited to cocktail parties than they do in standing up for the Constitution and advancing the Trump America First agenda. If we're going to defeat all those evil forces, we got to send fighters to Washington. My name's Josh Mandel. I am a fighter. I will take on the secular left. I will take on the radical left. I will take on the media. I will take on the squishy establishment Republicans. I'm going there to be reinforcements for Jim Jordan and Ted Cruz and Rand Paul and Mike Lee and Cynthia Lummis and others. I'm a Marine Corps vet. I'm a fighter, and no one in Washington is going to push me around.
Josh Mandel, thank you so much. By the way, I just sent the story to Jared and Charles. Let me read it to you very quickly. The Federalist, just the top part here. Biden administration tells Americans stranded in Afghanistan to pay for their own flights home. August 19, 2021, written by Jordan Davidson. President Joe Biden's administration is telling Americans who are stranded in Afghanistan to pay for their own passage back to the U.S. Quote, reparation flights are not free and passengers will be required to sign a promissory loan agreement and may not be eligible to renew their U.S. passports until the loan is paid. That's according to Overseas Security Advisory Council, noted in its security alert for Afghanistan. The cost may be $2,000 or more per person. I just sent that to your people. Take a look at it and try not to lose your mind. It's just one hideous thing after another. Josh Mandel will get you back on. My best to Jared and Charles, and keep up the good work, sir. Okay.
Thanks to meet you. We will post on this morning. I can get that to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, there you have it. If you want to know what's really going on, oh my God, if you want to know what's really going on, okay. Steve Billingsley is next. He's a local guy who went to the protest rally on January 6th. Ends up he's a political prisoner. Wait till you hear what the feds, what the FBI and God knows what other agents, federal agencies there, what they did to him and his family when they targeted his home right here in the 106.3 listening area. He's live next. If you want to know what's really going on, you keep it right here. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430. 100.9, 94.9, Alexa, open River Talk.
Clear.
It's unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. Even Josh Mandel didn't know about the $2,000 charge per person. Now, the feds are now saying, oh, we're going to back off on this. But that's what they were going to do. And then the blowback was so much. I mean, how could they even, how can you even think like this?
Hi, this is Jake Schumer.
God, let me get
Live
Steve
at
back
Davidson
up here.
Local. Am I speaking
There's
to
Steve.
Billingsley.
There's Steve. Good guy.
All right, Steve. We are currently in a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have you on.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back. This is going to be good.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. All right, you want to put him up? You want me to put him up, but you'll pot him down?
Correct.
Do it now?
Yes.
All right.
Might hear him, please.
All right. Oops, we still cut him.
Packing some phlegm.
Okay. Now
Okay, 30
it's now it's
seconds.
there's a delay with this online.
Yeah.
There's a oh boy, this is not good. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
We'll work around it.
Indeed. What's the next commercial? Is that
That'll
Serena?
be Serena we're gonna do Serena and Alex at 45.
At 45. All right, great. Let's do this.
10 seconds.
She's so cute.
We're gonna do weather and then get into
All right.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid 80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid 60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Oh man, do I have a guest for you. Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa, open River Talk. So what's it like when you are a Trump guy and you are involved in all of these Trump trains and everything else, and you go to the nation's capital on January 6th because you're very, very upset about what happened with the election where Joe Biden got 81 billion votes. And then what happens when the feds target you and your family at your home? Well, and then charge you with God knows what. Well, that actually happened to somebody right here in our 106.3 listing area. A guy who we've had on the air before with his Trump trains, really good guy. Saw him just a couple days ago at Oil and Gas Safety Supply. With Steve Billingsley, welcome to 106.3 The River. How you doing this morning, Steve?
Good morning, Dimitri.
Great. What is that background noise, breathing hard or whatever? What's going on back there?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, fair enough. So, Steve Billingsley, tell us what it was like for you and your family when the FBI and all the other agencies involved raided and targeted your home here in the Valley.
Well, at 6 o'clock in the morning last Friday, they decided to come into my home. Well, they come into my driveway with about, 40, 50 agents, and they had armored cars and everything, and decided to raid my house all over a misdemeanor. And they made me come out and walk down my driveway in a walk of shame with shackles, and all it take me over to Wheeling for 2 hours, and they let me out. But, what the FBI did at my house was totally uncalled for a misdemeanor. We have murderers and other stuff out here that there was no sense in that.
So you're there at your house. Well, we're in Richmond. Where exactly do you live?
I live in Richmond, Ohio.
Okay. So is it you and your wife or who was actually in your house? You and your wife?
Yeah, me and my wife and my 2 dogs.
Okay. And six in the morning, did you say?
It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:15, somewhere. Heck, I was in bed.
And so what's it like when you get 40 or 50 of these jackbooted thugs from the federal government targeting you? Do they ring the doorbell? Do they knock on the door? What exactly do they do? Do they just bust it down? Walk me through everything.
Well, what they did was my wife woke up because you remember that evening we had bad storms.
Yeah.
She thought it was the power company out here because there is a transformer on my property.
Okay.
For other people that's neighboring. And she thought it was the power company. When she looked out the door, there was an armored vehicle with a beam on the end of it that was fixing to rip the side of my house out. It was only probably, 5 to 8 feet from the side of my house. So, and it said SWAT on it. So she come in and got me out of bed. Well, I go out and they're telling me to put my hands up. And I'm like, I ain't putting my hands up. I thought they had the wrong residence. I really thought that they had the wrong residence because I never dreamed in a million years that just walking on the property with, with 100,000 patriots would have the FBI doing that to my home. Well, they're telling me to put my hands up. And I'm like, I ain't putting my hands up. So I walk beside where the SWAT thing was at, and I'm telling them I'm thinking it's a mistake. Well, they grab me and they put me in handcuffs. And he says, there's 2 warrants for your arrest. And I look up and I see FBI on his chest. And I says, this guy ain't do it January 6th. And he said, you got it. And I really thought it was a joke. You know, I thought someone set a joke up on me, but it was no joke. I mean, right now, I mean, you know, me and you just talked the other day, Dimitri. They're gonna try to make my life hell.
They already have done that. I mean, God only knows how.
Yeah.
How was your poor wife when you had all these thugs from the federal government ready to bulldoze your home and shoot you, or God knows what they were going to be capable of doing?
Oh,
How's your poor wife?
Yeah, these officers had AR-15s and everything pointed at us. I mean, but my wife, she's not as good at handcuffs as a lot of. Well, I mean, I'm no good at them either. Who's good at handcuffs? But she was shaking so bad that they almost had to carry her.
Wait a
Her
minute.
knees was buckling.
Wait a minute. Wait. They charged your wife too?
No, they didn't charge her, but they handcuffed her.
Why?
Yes.
She's not even charged. Why would they handcuff her?
Well, I thought she was charged too because you know she was with me, but
They're handcuffing
she
your
wasn't
wife.
charged.
Your wife is not charged with anything, but they're handcuffing your wife after these thugs, these federal thugs, do this to you in your house. This is unbelievable to me. So what happened next? What happened next,
Well,
Steve?
They told her that she wasn't being charged, but I was being charged, and that they was taking me to Wheeling to arraign me. You know, and all they did was they took me down there. I sat in a holding cell, and I went in front of a judge, and then they're going to talk about that this might drag out a while because there's so many January 6 cases. Well, there's so many January 6 cases because they're bothering innocent people.
Absolutely.
Them.
Absolutely. Now, the judge was the federal judge. Is that Jim Mazzone?
I think that was his name.
All right. Did Mazzone?
I'm learning all these names, Dimitri.
All right. Did Mazzone treat you right?
Yes, they read me my rights.
No. Did he treat you right? Was he
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah, I mean, well, he really didn't have nothing to judge. He just kind of did what DC told him to do.
All right. Well, yeah.
I mean, they told him that they wouldn't hold me, and they had no reason to hold me. That I wasn't a flight risk. And then they read a bunch of things to me, and then they threw me on probation, which I don't think is fair neither. I've never even been convicted of a crime yet, and they put me on probation.
This is mind-boggling to me. Did they read you your right? They did read you your rights. They said you got the right to remain silent and get an attorney and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're treating you like a criminal.
They said it.
Sorry.
They told me I had the right to remain silent, but my ability to stay silent is not very well.
You and Ron White. All right. So there's that. So tell me this, Steve. Tell me this. When they handcuffed your wife. By the way, what's your wife's name again, please?
It's Jamie Lurson.
Jamie. When they handcuffed Jamie, they said, we're not going to charge you with anything. Did you or she ask them, why the hell are you handcuffing me?
Well, at that time, Dimitri, when you got, I can't tell you how many agents, and they're all carrying ARs. I wasn't saying too much. You know, I mean,
This is unbelievable. Honestly, this is unbelievable.
I was a little bit intimidated.
You
Kind of had
think?
me a little bit spooked. You know?
Jesus Christ. So they take you down to the federal building in Wheeling. What did they do? Did they do a strip search? Did they make sure you weren't carrying? No, nothing like
They
that.
didn't have to do a strip search. They didn't have to do a strip search because when I came out of my bed, I was just in shorts and nothing. They had to go in and get me some clothes to throw on me to make me decent enough to go to Wheeling.
Did any of the
They woke me
FBI?
straight.
Dan, let me ask you this. Did any of the FBI agents or the other thugs from the federal government, did any of them ever pull you aside and actually apologize to you saying, look, I know what's really going on and I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, and just hang in there? Did any of them even pretend to be decent human beings?
Well, I'm going to give the FBI this. The people that were here were decent. I'm going to say they act like they don't want to do this. And the most I could get them out, the most I could get out of them is, we have a job to do and our hands are tied.
Jesus Christ. My God. More with Steve. We're going to take a short break here. I don't know if you probably know this, but just in case you don't, and same thing with our other listeners here, 106.3 The River. Are you aware of the story I guess it was by Reuters, that the FBI has found virtually no evidence that the January 6th protest at the U.S. Capitol was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election. FBI found virtually no evidence of that. That's something new. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that. I was there.
Okay.
I mean, I know. I mean, I kind of believe my instincts of what happened that day. I mean, we discussed this on January 10th last year on the same show.
Yeah.
I mean,
We know to talk more about that, Steve. I got to take a short break here, but we're going to get back to you and talk more about this. This is absolutely mind-boggling to me. It is just, oh my God.
it's insane.
Yeah, no, no kidding. All right, we've got
I think it's a waste of our taxpayer money.
no question. Let me put you on hold here if this damn thing ever works. Hold on a second. Okay, finally worked. Jesus. All right, more with Steve Billingsley. Live exclusive interview. You want to know what it's like when the federal government is weaponized to go after anybody who supports Trump. Here's a local guy, Steve Billingsley. This is what happened to him and his wife. They put handcuffs on Jamie, his wife, even though they didn't charge her with anything. This is your federal government. These thugs, these absolute horrid thugs. Just how do they live with themselves? We're just following orders. Huh. Where else did they follow orders with stuff like this? When was that? Oh yeah, back in the 30s. All right, going to take a short break. Let me check with my show producer here, Jake. Do we do a live personal endorsement now or after the commercial spot set?
We're going to have one right now, and that's Serena Hecathor.
All right, we're going to do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, full disclosure, this is a paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this if I did not believe it. Serena Hecathor is gold. She's gold, I say, gold. She is Health Markets Insurance Agency, and she is my health insurance agent, my wife's health insurance agent, my sister-in-law's health insurance agent, her husband, Mike, the harbor master at Piedmont Lake, his health insurance agent. She is Health Markets Insurance Agency. They have a new location. They're in Steubenville now, 4169 Sunset Boulevard. And that's right next to the KFC. So you eat lots of fried chicken, then go next door to Health Markets and get whatever health insurance they can still sell you. Any kind of health insurance you need, whether it is for vision or dental or COVID or heart attack or supplemental insurance for your parents, for Medicare, anything connected with health insurance, Serena Hecathor can help you. She is that damn good. She really is. And she's a delight to work with, as is her staff. Here's her phone number, 740-275-4922. That's 740-275-4922. And when you reach out to Serena Hecathor, 4169 Sunset Boulevard, Health Markets Insurance Agency, or when you reach out to them by Facebook or reach out to them on their website or reach out to them by going to their store or anything, make sure you tell them all that Dimitri sent me.
Clear.
Okay. And next we've got Alex. Is that right?
That is correct.
All righty then. We've got Alex. Let me get him up here. Oh, man. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. His wife, they handcuff Jamie, his wife. Don't charge her with anything, but they're going to send a message. These jerks. God, I was actually going to curse. FBI, DOJ. We're targeted. If we didn't vote for this pathetic dementia patient, we're on the list.
15 seconds.
Unbelievable. More with Steve Billingsley coming up here in just a bit.
Okay. All right, 10 seconds.
Okay.
5 seconds. We're going to come back bumper, Alex, and then weather.
Great.
Here we go.
Okay. Full disclosure, this is a paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this about Alex Coogan if I did not believe in him. He's actually a great guy. You wouldn't know it by the way he tortures me, especially on his show, which is the first and third Saturday of every month, including today on the Facebook page of this great radio station. He offers business advice. And some of the businesses that he owns are doing, a lot of them actually, are doing really, really well, including Eden Family Restaurant, EDEN, Eden Family Restaurant. That is 135 Virginia Street, Wheeling Island. Eden is in the Garden of Eden. They say it's a little paradise on the island, and indeed it is. You want a real breakfast, not one of those fast food breakfasts, which are pretty much a joke, but a real breakfast. Eden Family Restaurant, 3 eggs, hash browns, sausage, bacon, toast, butter, applesauce, coffee, orange juice. That's like a real breakfast. They do that. They also have incredible real hamburgers, not fast food burgers, which are again a joke, but real hamburgers, real meat, lots of it, lots of cheese. I'm just actually salivating thinking about that. Also the hand-cut fries. My wife swears by the hand-cut fries. They actually import some of their desserts, the cheesecakes, from New York, and they are really, really good. And I know a lot of my listeners drink heavily after listening to my show, especially. Good news with Eden Family Restaurant, wine selection, including a lot of top shelf options there for you. They even have the Devil's Den, although I can't give you any details about that, because if I did, I would then have to kill you. And that's a virtual fact. It's Eden Family Restaurant, 135 Virginia Street. And when you go to Eden Family Restaurant and you see Alex, or when you reach out to them on Facebook, or when you reach out to Eden Family Restaurant on the webpage, make sure you tell them all that Dimitri sent me.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Dimitri, live and dangerously local, 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa, open River Talk at Dimitri 2020 LLC. Later on this morning, in fact, to end the show, in light of what's going on in Afghanistan and what's going on with patriots being targeted, we are going to start a new feature, and that is the Donald Trump anthem. We're going to end every one of our shows playing the Donald Trump anthem, another exclusive feature and sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply in St. Clairsville at the Ohio Valley Mall. The Donald Trump anthem to end every show in light of what's going on with Afghanistan and what's going on with the Deep Swamp State targeting innocent citizens, including Steve Billingsley, who is our live special guest right now on 106.3 The River. Steve, let me read this very briefly for our Facebook friends and our listeners and all the great radio stations. A lot of people have been fed this lie by, of course, the FBI and the DOJ that there was some sort of organized plot to overturn the presidential election results. Well, now Reuters is reporting that the FBI has found scant evidence that the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, which wasn't even an attack, it was a protest, was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election. Though federal officials have arrested more than 570 alleged participants, including our special guest, Steve Billingsley, the FBI at this point believes the violence was not centrally coordinated by far-right groups or prominent supporters of President Donald Trump, according to a number of sources who have all pretty much confirmed this. And by the way, there was virtually no violence except on the protesters. A couple things here, Steve. First, you weren't even in the Capitol building. Is that right?
That's correct. I never made it in the Capitol building. As everyone knows my story, my wife saved my ass. Oh, my rear. Excuse my language.
That's okay.
But she saved me because when that come time that they breached the Capitol, my wife had to go to the restroom. And I wasn't leaving her alone to go find a restroom with a million people running on these streets. I mean, it was wall-to-wall people for blocks. And so I went with her, and we were gone probably, I don't know, at least an hour, hour and a half. And that's when all the, I don't know, Dimitri, who was in there, but, you know, I see videos of guys beating on cops and stuff, and I don't think that was part of our clan.
No.
I mean, yeah, so the Trump supporters were heated and they were upset, but I don't see violence, the violence that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Just like Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah. Yeah. The only violence really was one of the Capitol cops, who of course has been cleared because they would never charge him, gunning down unarmed Army vet and business owner Ashley Babbitt. And no one seems to care about her. No one seems to care about all the political prisoners that are being held right now in D.C. And the Republican Party, which you would think would have grown a set of balls to at least stand up for you for this. Not even that. Let me ask you a couple of things here, Steve. Were you armed, or did you see anybody who was armed who was there at the protest? Did you see people carrying, protesters, not the government now, carrying weapons of any sort? Did you see anything like that?
I did not see no weapons, and I did not have no weapons on me. I didn't even have a pocket knife in my pocket.
Oh my goodness!
I was just trying. DC is very picky about weapons, so I tried to be clean.
Yeah.
But I seen people with gas mask on and bulletproof vests. I mean, there was, you got some patriots that are pretty diehard, but I mean, that was what I had seen.
Yeah.
And that's just like with the law. They was, there was water bottles and stuff being thrown at them, but I never threw a thing at a cop.
So they're charging you for.
I was all the way. I even had a cop help me move a barrier.
Jesus. And I've seen the different videos from people with their cell phones. The cops were opening the doors, allowing people to come in, inviting them in. It's mind-boggling to me, Steve. It's just mind-boggling.
Right. They just wanted things to be peaceful, I believe.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: you're charged with a couple of things. Was it trespass?
Well, I've got the papers right here. I can read it right to you, my two charges. So the public knows, so News 9 would quit their line. I've been charged with knowing, entering, or remaining in any restricted buildings or grounds without lawful authority. Definition to meet trespassing. And then the second charge is disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted buildings or grounds. That's the only two charges I have on me. And it's kind of bogus that you would go and raid somebody's house over I mean, I think a speeding ticket over 20 mile an hour is worse than that.
No question. And did you disrupt anything? Were you doing anything?
I mean, I was yelling obscene stuff and that. I mean, yes, did I run my mouth? Probably, but I'm real good at that.
Well, yeah, but that was it, though, right? You were just exercising your First Amendment right to protesting. You didn't throw anything. You didn't hit anybody.
Words.
Yeah, well, not
everybody
anymore.
there was doing that.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Steve, we're almost out of time. And I always give my guests the last word to speak directly to the untold tens of thousands of listeners and friends that we have on the radio stations and also with the internet. So you've got about a minute to speak directly to them. Say whatever you want, but please do not curse or else I get in big trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our own here in the Valley, Steve Billingsley, a target of the jackbooted thugs of the federal government. My microphone is yours.
I want to thank the whole entire Valley for their support. And when this first happened, my wife was very, very scared that we was going to have to hide, but I have no reason to hide. I have been classified as a hero, and I have pouring support, and I'm hoping when it comes time, I'm going to need that help and support from this Valley. But what they did to me, I no question I would not want to happen to anyone. Even the left, you guys think that I'm going to go to prison? It's not happening. News 9 and WTRF 7, they just go by what they're told, and then they spice it up.
Yep.
But I'm not going to be going to jail more than likely. All I'm going to get out of this is probably a fine and probation. That's what my attorney says. He says, I mean, I have no criminal record. So if everybody thinks that Steve Billingsley has a criminal record, there is none. Even the feds have told me my criminal record is blank. So that's what's going to come out of this. But I really, and I thank you, Dimitri, for your time of having me on the radio.
Well, Steve Billingsley, I thank you for all your service for our country, all the patriotic work that you have done. I am incensed by what has been happening here to innocent citizens who did protest on January 6th and being treated like political prisoners. The utter useless news media here in the Valley and also nationwide calling it an insurrection, calling it a violent anything. It's mind-boggling to me. It's beyond Orwellian. And please stay in touch, Steve. Anything that we can do for you here in Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local, as long as I'm allowed to use this thing, I will amplify your message. My very best to you and your wife, sir, and I'm sure we'll see you again real soon at Oil and Gas Safety Supply.
One more thing.
No, we're almost out of time.
Dimitri.
We're almost out of time. We got
An
to.
insurrection is what Taliban did to them Afghanistan, not what we did to.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, sir. If you want to know what's really going on, you keep it right here. 1063 The River. He's one of our own. He's one of our own. He's a local guy. This is what happens when the government is weaponized, when you've got these horrid people in charge. They're going after all of us. All these, the thugs, the AR-15s, the SWAT teams and all that, at this guy's house with him and his wife over a trespassing charge, and they handcuff his wife, who's not even charged. That's the kind of monsters you're dealing with here. And these FBI agents, special agents, oh, we're just doing our job, it's like, we're just following orders. I hear all this stuff about how 90% of the FBI are actually pretty good people. It's just rotten at the top. I say 90% are pretty rotten and only 10% are good. This is another example of that. They're just following orders. Just following orders. That's all they're doing. They're just following orders. My God in heaven. My God in heaven. All right. We got Gregory Wrightstone coming up here next.
Am I speaking to Greg Wrightstone? No, there we go. Hi, this is Jake Show, producer of Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local. Am I speaking to Greg Wrightstone? All right, Greg, well, we're currently in a commercial break, and when we come back, we're not beyond. Oh, Greg is up. You can put him up if you want now.
Okay.
I'll put him down.
All right.
Didn't hear me the first time, I guess.
All right. Again, it might be the delay with this online phone system. You can't control this thing. Can't control the damn thing.
Okay, 1 minute. And do we not have Homeland Firearms anymore?
No, we should.
'Cause I don't see nothing on our log.
What about Sunday?
Let's see, Sunday. Yeah, nothing here either about them.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check with
30 seconds until weather.
Mary Lou. Okay. In fact, let's add that. We'll just write it in for today and tomorrow. And if there was an oversight, then I'll check with Mary Lou and see. So let's do that.
10 seconds until weather.
Okay. Just got so many advertisers here. I can't keep track of all of them. I need a secretary to handle this.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa. Open River Talk, a Dimitri 2020 LLC program. One of our favorite guests is this geologist. Yes, a guy who likes rocks. He understands all about this stuff. His name is Gregory Wrightstone, and he's got more than 35 years experience researching and studying various aspects of the Earth's process. bachelor's degree from Waynesburg University, master's from WVU in the field of geology, an expert in this field, and also author of the runaway bestseller, Inconvenient Facts, the Science That Al Gore Doesn't Want You to Know. We asked him back on the program for one simple reason, and that is with the latest infrastructure bill, which essentially is going to be getting the Green New Deal put into law, thanks to West Virginia's wrinkled rhino, Senator Shelley Moore Capito. I wanted to give you a sense from an expert here about how this is going to be screwing us and our kids and our grandkids forever. So Gregory Wrightstone, welcome back to 106.3 The River. How are you this morning, sir?
Very good. It's been a while. And Dimitri, I got to just tell you, whatever you do, don't take it for granted. That's a little geology humor to get us started. Don't take it for granted.
Let me jot that.
Anyhow.
Let me jot that down so I can steal that from. Don't take it for granted. Okay, fair enough. So tell me about this Green New Deal that they are now incorporating somehow with the infrastructure bill. If you could speak up just a bit, Gregory, your kind of audio's a bit low on your end.
Okay, is that better? We're it's as good as I get unless I start shouting.
Okay,
but,
don't shout. Don't shout. Go ahead.
Okay. The infrastructure bill is about the one that was passed was $1.2 trillion. From what we could tell, about 110 billion or 10% of it was what you and I and your listeners would call true infrastructure, roads, bridges, and the like. And there's an almost equal amount that we assign to solving this non-existent climate crisis. They're calling it a solution to the climate crisis. I call it a solution in search of a problem. They're promoting new infrastructure for car recharging. They're promoting again infrastructure to connect up these far-flung solar and wind projects. More subsidies for electric vehicles. Well, let me ask you, Dimitri. Here we've got a hurricane bearing down on New England, and you're in you've got a Tesla, and you want to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Are you going to hop in your Tesla or your internal combustion engine that says your Subaru? I'm going to opt for the internal combustion because there'll be millions of people fleeing to the west and northwest to get away from this thing. How far would you get on congested roads moving at 10 miles an hour or less? You might get 30 miles from home before you have to recharge. Yep. And there you are sitting there. And we have these, and that's what they want. They want to turn America's automobiles, trucks, they want to turn them all electric, which is just a horrible idea.
Oh, Gregory.
I'm writing a commentary right now, Dimitri, on the fire dangers of these electric vehicles.
Yep.
There have been bus stations both in China and Germany recently where they were charging these electric buses at night, and one caught fire and then it ignited each bus beside it. Both bus stations, bus parking garages were consumed. What's going to happen when one of these cars in an underground parking garage, the same thing happens to it? It's going to occur. It just hasn't yet. I'm in an apartment building in Arlington, Virginia, with hundreds of cars below me. There's a looming catastrophe of horrific proportions coming.
No question.
In fact, 2 cities in Bavaria have banned electric vehicles from parking inside.
Wow. And that's where the Bavarian Motor Works probably are too. That's amazing. Yep. The Green New Deal, especially here in the heart of Trump country, which is Eastern Ohio, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania. How devastating is this going to be? We're doing a live exclusive interview here with Gregory Wrightstone, author of the soon-to-be runaway bestseller, which is Inconvenient Facts, the Science That Al Gore Doesn't Want You to Know. How devastating exactly is it going to be here, Greg?
Well, it's going to be devastating across the country. We see inflation already. Inflation is going to be turbocharged once we start implementing the Biden agenda's new carbon taxes, the things that he's got in plans for us. His goal and the administration's goal is to make electricity generation more expensive. We see that playing out just to your east in Pennsylvania, where Governor Tom Wolf he's trying to implement the regional greenhouse gas initiative. Thankfully, Ohio and West Virginia aren't even close to doing it, but the Northeast states have. And what that does, it's going to impose a carbon tax on all forms of electric generated by natural gas and coal, which is around 82%, I think, last I checked for the Keystone State. And similar for Ohio and West Virginia, we get some nuclear energy, but it's going to drive up electricity costs. And what does that do? When you drive up electricity costs, that drives up costs for just about everything that you build. If you're a widget manufacturer, your costs are going up, and then you're going to pass that along to consumer. The next shoe to drop in Pennsylvania is imposing gasoline taxes.
Again?
The new infrastructure,
Oh
the new infrastructure bill is starting a pilot program. What they want to do is implement mileage-based fees for
Right.
vehicle transportation, since we're going to electric. And they say, oh, well, we'll get rid of the gasoline tax. No, they won't. Have you ever, Dimitri, name one tax that's ever gone away?
Exactly.
I'm not going to wait, because you can't.
I know.
Because,
Yeah.
again, just here east of Pennsylvania, if you buy a bottle of liquor, you're paying the Johnstown flood tax that was supposed to have been in place for 5 years. And here we are nearly 100 years later. And every time you go to buy a bottle of hooch at the store, you're paying the Johnstown flood
Now,
tax.
let me ask you this,
They're not
Gregory.
gonna-
Yeah, let me ask you this. Again, we're doing live exclusive interview with Gregory Wrightstone, a geologist. You've seen him on Fox News. You've seen him all over the place. You've heard him all over the place. Author of the runaway bestseller, Inconvenient Facts, The Science That Al Gore Doesn't Want You to Know, available at better bookstores everywhere, and I guess online as well. Why is it, Gregory, that so many people on the left have essentially adopted electric vehicles, especially Tesla, as some sort of religion when that it's supposedly good for the environment, when the fact is that every electric vehicle is powered by coal or natural gas or uranium, because those are the main fuel sources for the electric generators that provide the electricity. And all the problems that come with all of that are just mind-boggling. Yet they still seem somehow to believe that it is magical. If it's an electric car, no emissions, so it's magical. But it's coal, it's natural gas, it's uranium, all the stuff we dig out of the ground. I mean, what is wrong with these people?
What is wrong with them? Where do we start? It's virtue signaling, is what it is. If you notice, the people driving electric vehicles are primarily well-heeled individuals. The rest of us out here that are they're working at wherever they work, not making $180,000 a year or $500,000. They're not driving electric vehicles for the most part. And we see that's what they're actually doing. These subsidies are providing. It's a regressive system where they're funding the elites, the powerful, and the wealthy to buy these toys that don't make any. They're paying for their virtue signaling is what they're doing.
We are paying for their virtue signaling with these
We are.
subsidies. And tell the listeners about the amount of subsidies these electric vehicles continue to get, because they still don't make economic sense, not even close to making economic sense.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me of what exactly those subsidies are. And there are so many of them, from local, state, and federal subsidies, that they're encouraging people to go over these electric vehicles, which is only going to exacerbate the situation we have for electricity generation, because the unreliable energy we get from solar and wind is just that. And when we talk about electricity generation, we should look at three factors: reliability, abundance, and affordability. The only thing that meets that in spades are natural gas and coal. Nuclear is abundant and reliable, but it's certainly not affordable, because they've made the building of these plants so expensive through super regulations. But what they need to do, Dimitri, is shut people like me up. And just before I got on air with you, I opened up my computer, fired up. I got blocked from LinkedIn. It might be permanently.
What?
I posted data 2 days ago on Greenland ice core temperature data showing that there were 9 other warming trends similar to the one we're in right now, and 5 of them were warmer than today. Factual data from Dr. Richard Alley of Penn State. I posted it. I said, you delete this, LinkedIn. I dare you. Well, they deleted it and went one better. They shut me down. And there have been other people that I know in a similar situation that are banned permanently. So I've just appealed it. But this is this cancel culture. I just 5 minutes before I got on the air with you, I saw this, and I'm irate. They need to cancel us. They need to shut me down. They need to shut people that are providing science, facts, and data that dispute this notion of man-made catastrophic warming. And you know my philosophy. I use one sentence, and I want your listeners to listen and adopt this as their own. We need to utilize all of Earth's resources for the betterment of mankind and do it as good stewards. Bam. One sentence, and embrace it. And that's what we need to do. Embrace reasonable, rational electricity and energy generation.
My goodness. More with our very special guest, Gregory Wrightstone. He is the author of the runaway bestseller, Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know. And you just got some breaking news. Now, LinkedIn has pretty much canceled him as well as of a few minutes ago. That's what's going on right now. We're all being targeted. We are all being targeted either by the federal government or through their proxies with big media. It happened again this morning, just a few minutes ago. You heard it live right here. More with our very special guest. Let me check with my show producer. Do I have to do another live personal endorsement now or at the end of the commercial break?
We're going to do 2, and this one coming up right now is our new sponsor once again.
Okay, we'll do that. So let me just move this up here for our Facebook friends. And I'm very excited about this one. I'm excited about all the lovely women who work there. It's fantastic. Okay, full disclosure. This is a paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this if I did not believe it. Oil and Gas Safety Supply is a place where you have to go to get some incredible values on clothing because they have a warehouse clothing clearance sale going on right now. That's right. Oil and Gas Safety Supply has the warehouse clothing clearance sale going on right now. And this isn't just any warehouse. If you remember at the Ohio Valley Mall where Toys R Us used to be, well, now it's Oil and Gas Safety Supply. The warehouse part of that facility, the warehouse part is 20,000 square feet. And they have a warehouse clothing clearance going on right now. And you might be wondering, okay, well, it sounds good, but how good could it be? Okay, are you sitting down? I hope you are. $5 men's flannels. $5 men's flannels. $5 men's work shirts. $5 safety tees. $5 tie-dye shirts. That's $5 tie-dye shirts. $40 camo jacket. And a $1 women's tees. That's right. $1. Oil and Gas Safety Supply. They open at 10 o'clock. I want you there at 9:59. Big parking lot, Ohio Valley Mall, where the Toys R Us store used to be. A warehouse clothing clearance, a massive warehouse, ridiculously low prices. You better get there early. You better say hi to all the beautiful babes there who work at Oil and Gas Safety Supply too. Again, $5 safety tees, $5 men's work shirts, $5 men's flannels, $5 tie-dye shirts, $40 camo jacket, and $1 women's tees. That's right, $1. Oil and Gas Safety Supply. And one more thing. Because of what's going on in Afghanistan right now and what's going on with the federal government right now, we have a new feature here in Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local. We are going to end the show on the radio side. We can't do it on the Facebook side. We're going to end the show on the radio side with the Donald Trump anthem. That's how we're going to end every show now because of what's going on in Afghanistan and what's going on with our federal government in the deep swamp state. And that Donald Trump anthem is brought to you by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. So when you reach out to Oil and Gas Safety Supply in St. Clairsville, Ohio Valley Mall, when you reach out to them on Facebook, when you reach out to them on their website, when you reach out by going there and saying, hello, how you doing? Make sure you tell them, Dimitri sent me.
Clear.
Okay. My God, the world's lost its mind. We come back. What's the next personal
Irish
endorsement?
Pub.
Irish Pub. All right, great. Let's just see here, Irish Pub. Let's get Carol up there. There's Carol. Lovely person, doing great.
30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, all these people who like electric vehicles, they don't understand that they're powered by coal or natural gas or uranium, all the stuff you have to dig up out of the ground. I mean, be honest to God, they think it's like magic. Oh, it's a battery, it's clean. How do you think, where do you think electricity comes from? From lightning bolts? I mean, honest to God, it's unbelievable to me.
You ready to go?
Yo, yes, I
Here
am.
we go.
Okay. Full disclosure, this is a paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this if I did not believe it. The Irish Pub is a great place. It's in Weirton. It's on Main Street. It's a great place because primarily of one person, this woman named Carol Ravosky. She is a really, really interesting person. She is born and reared Weirton. She went to Weir High. She helped bring home a state championship for Weir High. She was on the women's softball team, championship team 1982. She was the catcher, and she just bleeds Weirton. And this place is on Main Street in Weirton. The address is 3027 Main Street in Weirton, the Irish Pub. And it is one of those places where they really are glad you came, where they really are glad to know your name. They have an absolutely great time there. And especially this coming weekend, because on the 28th, they are going to have at the Irish Pub, they are going to have a luau, which is Hawaiian for let's roast a pig in the parking lot. That's right. They're going to roast a pig in the parking lot at the Irish Pub, 3027 Main Street in Weirton. I want you to go there tonight. I want you to go there tomorrow night. I want you to go there every night, but especially with the luau next Saturday, August the 28th. That's Saturday, right? Yeah, the 28th. And I'm trying to convince Carol and DJ Mike, who I'll talk with you about in a second, to wear grass skirts. I don't know if I can convince them to do it, but I think that they should. Kayla too, and Chris and everybody else. It is the Irish Pub, 3027 Main Street in Weirton. A great place, great people, and one of the great acts there is DJ Mike. DJ Mike Keffer. That's Mike Keffer Sr. That's DJ Mike. He is DJ Mike Music Express Entertainment, a DJ, MC, announcer, entertainer. Mike Keffer, Keffer. You can look him up on Facebook. Phone number 304-794-9833. That's 304-794-9833. DJ Mike. He is the same DJ Mike who led the fight to save the Indian mascot at Weir High. He was the one who was being interviewed by all the news media. This is another true believer. And it's all happening at the Irish Pub, 3027 Main Street in Weirton. When you go to the Irish Pub and you see Carol or you see DJ Mike or you see anybody else there, make sure you tell them, Dimitri sent me.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schutt.
About 6 minutes.
Okay. Dimitri, live and dangerously local, 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 100.9, 94.9. Alexa, open River Talk. Live exclusive interview with a great friend of the show, Gregory Wrightstone, noted geologist, author of the runaway bestseller, which is Inconvenient Facts. That's Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know. And you've been getting an earful this morning with this live exclusive interview. Gregory Wrightstone, where are we now with the Biden administration, with the slight majority they have in Congress, in the House, and in the Senate? What is going to be happening next regarding all these climate lunatics? What are they going to be doing to us next?
I think they've overreached quite significantly. They're going to try and push more. They're going to have to start pushing more through with this. I think they see the high handwriting is on the wall that they're not going to hold the House. It's looking more and more confirmation. We see that, or at least from what I hear from the pundits on television. So they're going to have to, anything they're going to have to do, they're going to have to do it pretty quickly before the next election. And people are getting scared. This Green New Deal thing, the voters are saying, man, I don't want my energy costs to go up. I don't want my taxes to go up. I don't want to pay more for vehicles. And that's all, it's their pocketbook. They're going to vote with their pocketbook.
So,
and these Green New Deal proposals are just going to make things more expensive for everybody. I am an optimist. I see when I go and I talk to a lot of just random people. I go to the gym, I wear my I Love CO2 t-shirt. The back of my truck, I've got an I Love CO2 bumper sticker on the back. And just random people I talk to are thirsty for the information that I provide that they've never heard before. Basically, that the Earth's ecosystems and humanity are benefiting from the warming that we've seen combined with increasing CO2. And by almost every metric, we see the Earth's ecosystems and humanity prospering, thriving.
All right. Let me ask you this, because we're almost out of time. And this is, I think, really, really important for our listeners and for me as well. And that is this. Why is it that the tree-hugging lunatics don't like CO2, carbon dioxide? Because I thought carbon dioxide, CO2, was actually a good thing for plants and animals and the earth. Why do they hate carbon dioxide?
Yeah, they're calling it the demon molecule. You should call it the miracle molecule. I joined the CO2 Coalition as their executive director at the beginning of the year. We have more than 70 of the top scientists in the world that are studying climate change. And it's our main thesis is to promote the many benefits of carbon dioxide. And again, by almost every metric you look at, the benefits greatly outweigh any. You can't even name a negative for carbon dioxide.
Why do they hate it
It's been
then?
labeled a pollutant.
Why do they hate it?
Yeah.
Why do they hate it?
They say that it's a greenhouse gas, and it is. That's a fact. They say it's contributing to the warming of the planet. Yes, but the question is how much warming is being contributed. We will argue that it's primarily overwhelmed by the same natural forces that have been driving temperature since the dawn of time, and that any contribution of warming from CO2 is very modest. Again, overwhelmed by these natural forces. And we see the warming's been beneficial. We're seeing lengthening growing seasons, killing frosts end earlier in the spring and arrive later in the fall. We can have more plantings. So we're seeing crop growth being turbocharged. It's I call it the biggest untold story of the late 20th and early 21st century, and that of this thriving, prospering, benefiting Earth and humanity.
Unbelievable.
It's a great story.
Unbelievable. Well, you're a great story as well. Your book, runaway bestseller, is a great story. Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know. Live exclusive interview with Gregory Wrightstone. And Gregory, we always give our guests the last word to speak directly with our listeners. If you just joined us, by the way, breaking news, when Gregory posted something on his LinkedIn account saying, in essence, that carbon dioxide is not a bad thing, and here are the facts, blah, blah, blah. As of a few minutes ago, right before the interview, LinkedIn canceled him. This is how scary it is out there right now. LinkedIn canceled this noted geologist. we are doomed. Look, Gregory Wrightstone, I always give my guest the last word. I'm going to hand you my microphone. You can effectively speak to the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of listeners on the great radio stations that carry my show and all the people on the internet who are listening right now. So Gregory Wrightstone, my microphone is yours.
Yeah, you could, if you want to learn more, go to buy my book, Inconvenient Facts. If you want to avoid paying Amazon's exorbitant fees, you could go to inconvenientfacts.xyz. Learn more at the CO2coalition.org to learn more about CO2. The book was just endorsed a month ago by Candace Owens. She held it up on her podcast, and she said, this book has changed everything I believe about climate change. Every child in America needs to read this book. Thanks, Dimitri.
All right, Gregory, thank you so very much. Please stay in touch. Whatever we can do to help you and help promote carbon dioxide, let me know and we will do it. You have a great day, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you.
If you want to know what's really going on, okay. Okay. Yeah, you got to keep it right here. But let me just tell you coming up next. Okay, with everything going on in Afghanistan, the it's just mind-boggling. You've got the Brits and the French who are parachuting in people to help their citizens who are being held hostage. The United States is not doing it. We have for you scheduled next live exclusive interview with a Major General retired Jeff Slosher, who was commanding of the 101st Airborne in Afghanistan. We're going to be talking with him about this whole airborne thing and how maybe we could use that to rescue our hostages, all the tens of thousands of American thousands, maybe tens of thousands of American hostages right now in Afghanistan. Hell, the English are doing it. The French are doing it. Why the hell aren't we doing it? You're going to get an earful. That's coming up next. And he wrote the runaway bestseller, Marathon War, about, of course, Afghanistan. So if you want to know what's really going on, you keep it right here. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa, open River Talk.
Clear.
Wow.
Music. It's slow, sure.
Slow Shore. Slow Shore. Yeah. Jeffrey.
Hi, this is Jake, show producer Dimitri, live and dangerously local. Am I speaking to Jeffrey Slosher? All right, Jeffrey. We are currently in a commercial break. When we come back from that break, we're gonna have you on. Okay. And then we got a minute and a half. Let's come back to Homeland Firearms. Get that out of the way so that whole 845 is to oil and gas.
Just oil and gas. I'll tell you what, let's do both at that 845 break. We can start with Homeland Firearms and end with oil and gas. So
is this interview a 15 or full 30?
It's going to be almost about 850. About 850. We'll take a break about 840 or 845. 845 typical break. So that should work out okay. All right. Good. So we'll come back with.
Okay, and if you want to put him up, you can do that.
All righty. Firearms. All right, great. All right, Jeff. All righty, he's up on my end.
Okay. Around 30 seconds.
Okay.
Seconds.
Okay.
Ready. Into weather.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schott.
Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa. Open River Talk, a Dimitri 2020 LLC program. You can experience the full Dimitri by going to the Facebook page of this great radio station, 106.3 The River, and you will see the Facebook live stream. Please share this. Don't forget Alex Coogan after the 9 o'clock news on the Facebook page only. 106.3 The River with the Alex Coogan Business Show. A lot of fun. You'll really like it. He tortures me, but it's actually all in good fun, although I hate it. All right, so what's going on in Afghanistan right now is beyond mind-boggling. My biggest concern is the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of American hostages who cannot get to the airport, who cannot be flown out, even though the Army is flying out an awful lot of Afghan citizens, but the Americans can't even get there. Their passports are being taken from them by the Taliban, and it's just a colossal, horrible mess. In Benghazi, the feds left 4 Americans to die there. This is Benghazi times a million, and it's mind-boggling to me. And what's also, so many things mind-boggling. The other thing is this, that the English and the French are sending paratroopers in to help save their citizens in Afghanistan, but this federal government, this Biden administration, is not doing that to save American citizens. So I thought, okay, who can I get who'd be like the perfect guest? Well, I think I've found him. We've had him on before. He was terrific. He is Major General Jeffrey Slosher, U.S. Army retired. He is the author of the runaway bestseller, Marathon War. And Jeffrey Slosher, welcome back to 106.3 The River. We are you, sir?
Well, Dimitri, thanks for having me back. Yeah, as you say, the situation continues to be chaotic and dire, so I'm not all that great. We spend a lot of evenings trying to help people get out of that country, from afar, from 10,000 miles away. Had another one come up last night. Really a challenge, as you've laid out.
Question: when you say you got one out last night, was that in reference to a plane full of Americans or a plane full of citizens of Afghanistan with some Americans? What was that reference?
Yeah, Dimitri, I wish it was a plane full. No, I'm talking about single people who are reaching out and trying to get out of the country.
What?
And,
what?
We've got Americans actually out sleeping by the gates, trying to get around the huge crowds and things of that nature, try to get the attention of the guards there, the American they're actually paratroopers and Marines, and try to get inside inside that fence, the cordon around that. So no, I'm talking about singles, one by one by one. It's striking.
Okay, how did you do that being 10,000 miles away? Walk me through that one person. Who was that, an American?
Yeah, I'm not going to, until she actually gets out, I'm just not going to do that, Dimitri. What I will say is that, yes, it was American. And we have a lot of, the numbers are between 10 and 15,000 total Americans that we believe that are in Afghanistan. They go from, dual citizenship folks to just regular Americans. I'm aware of one that, is running a marketing firm there. In fact, I just saw a report of that in the media. And I just want to remind our listeners that you don't have to register when you go into a foreign country with the U.S. Embassy. It's encouraged, but you don't have to do that. So getting the right numbers down is probably really challenging for this administration, but it would be like any administration. Don't really know. Well, and then there's about 50 to 65,000 Afghans that have either supported us, supported the media, from the West, and we're still trying to get those folks out. There has been a development. I'd like to talk a little tiny bit about that.
Sure.
Just to make sure we're good. Yeah. So overnight, what's happened? Overnight American time, during the day, Saturday, in Afghanistan, we actually have, and we meaning America, have started using helicopters, and we have the 82nd Airborne on the ground now, at least one brigade with the division commander. And we also have Marines there. And I believe we've got some special operations forces, and they have started reaching out with those helicopters, going out, gathering up American citizens and flying them back into the safety of the airport to get back on aircraft coming back to the United States. And so that's a very positive development. As you noted before, the Brits and the French have been doing it all week with ground vehicles, and their airborne and special operations forces, and now finally America's finally doing that.
Okay. This is, again, there's so many things here that just my head's ready to explode here with this. It really is. You were in charge of the 101st Airborne in Afghanistan. So you know a thing or two about guys and women jumping out of planes with parachutes and landing and doing all sorts of airborne stuff, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I read that the English and the French were doing that to help save their citizens, and we had not been doing that, I was infuriated. Then I read one report anyway that said that there was a commander, a United States commander, who had told the English and the French, please stop doing it because you're making the United States look bad. And again, my head ready to explode. And now I'm hearing we're finally starting to do this. Why weren't we doing this from the start? I mean, if the English and, my God, the French are showing us up, I mean, I don't even recognize this world anymore. What happened there?
Yeah, well, if it's all factual, Dimitri, then it is embarrassing. And in fact, what I would probably say is that, Americans on the ground may have finally taken a look and said, well, if the French and the Brits can do it, we can clearly do it as well.
Well, yeah.
My guess is that there have been special operations forces, intelligence operatives on the ground trying to do the same thing since last weekend, and maybe just not getting reported. I mean, in my job, I would have much preferred not to have much, media knowledge of intelligence operatives, dressed as locals going around the city trying to find Americans. I prefer that not be known. But I do believe it's been happening, ever since, at least by Monday, from American intelligence operatives and some special operations forces. The problem of it is the numbers, Dimitri, are sheerly just so large. You can't do it one by one by one. That's why my frustration with trying to help people from over here, one by one, just getting to the gates and getting their passports or their papers in order. It's really a challenge, but each person makes a difference, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, my guess would be that this should expand pretty significantly. We've got enough aircraft down over there, helicopters and such, to be able to do this in a much broader way. Let's think about it though. Everybody's trying to get to Kabul, and it's extraordinarily dangerous to do so. Both with the passports, because I think the further you get outside of Kabul, the less and less structured the Taliban are. You're getting reports up in the area south of Kabul, Ghazni, where there were assassinations, just, public executions.
Oh.
And by the way, before that, they tortured the people. I'm not talking about Americans. I'm talking about other Afghans that have probably had links to America. So if you are trying to get to Kabul airport, both either with the passport or say, for example, paperwork to prove that you work for Americans, that's pretty darn dangerous. If the Taliban pulls you aside and finds that paperwork that you work for America, and you may not be an American citizen, your life is in jeopardy. Your family's lives are in jeopardy as well. So this is tough stuff. I would like to see us using those aircraft and actually finding places inside these provincial cities where we could gather up Americans and fly back to Kabul. That would be, I think, hugely important. The distances on the road are hours upon hours, maybe days. And so,
Okay, but here's what you just said. Okay, hours and hours away. We had all these Black Hawk helicopters there that we were going to leave for God knows why. Why couldn't we have used every one of those Black Hawk helicopters to save American hostages in Afghanistan?
Well, we've actually got, Dimitri, we do have our own Black Hawks and our own Chinooks there, piloted by Americans. And so, that's happening right now. You know, the images you see, and there's not a lot of them. It's interesting, but you know, the embarrassing image last week and about Chinook taking off from the top of the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, that was a Chinook that was piloted by Americans. It's not a question of do we have enough aircraft or enough American pilots. The question is can they, you know, get the Americans in places that they can, in fact, be evacuated from that place into Kabul airport. And I think that that's going to be, which I personally believe, you're going to see more focus on that over the next 10 days or so. You know, I mean, I'm baffled by this 31 August time frame
Yes.
as far as we're all done and we're leaving. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
and
no.
if it does,
Yeah.
we're going to leave a whole heck of a lot of folks still in Afghanistan.
It is Benghazi times a million. It really is. We're doing a live exclusive interview here on 106.3 The River with Jeff Schloesser. That's spelled Schloesser, Major General, U.S. Army, retired author of the runaway bestseller Marathon War, Leadership and Combat in Afghanistan. I say runaway bestseller because I've interviewed him a few times and he's had lots and lots of sales after my interview. So thank you very much. So we'll be talking more with him. And if you know anybody in Afghanistan who is trying to get out, maybe in this next segment, Jeff can give us some idea of how to reach him or someone else to try to start the process without giving away all the secrets. It's a hell of a world that we live in. It really, really is. How's that Biden administration working out for you, America? How's it working out for you? If you want to know what's really going on, you got to keep it right here. What? Oh, we got to do a break. Oh, okay. Hold on a second here. I got a little ahead of myself. Sorry about that. I actually forgot about this. Okay, this is a full disclosure, paid commercial announcement, but no amount of money could get me to say this if I did not believe it. And that is Homeland Firearms. Homeland Firearms is George and Michelle Slates. They are wonderful, wonderful people. They have combined more than 21 years of experience in firearms instruction. They're affiliated with the NRA. They're affiliated with the USCCA, Concealed Carry Association. They take care of people. George is a Glock armorer licensed to work on and repair Glocks, insured by Glock. And they are the caring couple. They care about you and the shooting sports. The Slates give it to you straight. You can have complete confidence in this couple. Homeland Firearms is your home protection, but that's not the main reason why you should consider going to Homeland Firearms, as important as all that is. What's really, really important with Homeland Firearms is that they can save you a fortune for your when you buy guns and ammo. That's right, they can save you a fortune. I checked with them, they have the ammo. I know there's been a big run on ammo, but if you go to Homeland Firearms, they can save you a small fortune, because with any gun and ammo or that you buy, no matter how many guns and ammo you buy, no sales tax. So if you're coming from Ohio or West Virginia or Pennsylvania, you go to Homeland Firearms, 1619 Pennsylvania Avenue in Weirton. They're open 7 days a week. No sales tax. They can save you a small fortune. Homeland Firearms, when you reach out to them on Facebook, when you reach out to them on their website, when you reach out to them by going there, 1619 Pennsylvania Avenue, when you see Michelle and George, and when they save you a small fortune with no sales tax, make sure you tell them, Dimitri sent me.
Clear.
Great. Again, mark it down if you would, please. Have that.
And then are we coming back to oil?
Let's the Donald Trump anthem is about 3 minutes long. Is that right? Okay, let's just come back and wrap up here with Jeff, and then we'll do oil and gas, and then go to the Donald Trump anthem. Let's do that. Let's end it that way. Great.
And
Then we've got Alex after the 9 o'clock news on the Facebook side only.
give me a proper cue when to start playing the music.
All right, I'll just go. Brought to you by Oil and Gas Safety Supply, and then I'll just give you a.
And then I'll start it.
You started. Turn off my microphone. Make sure we're off on the website, and that'll be it. Great.
So when I'm going to turn off the website stream once we end it with Jeff.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, let's get this thing up here. We'll get that ready. Let's get back to Schloesser. Alrighty. let's
Okay,
see
so we're just
here.
coming back with weather then.
That is correct.
We're ending it with Jeff. Okay. into weather.
Okay.
Here's your 106.3 The Rivers weather.
Mostly sunny skies for today. Humid, highs in the mid-80s. Mostly clear tonight. Patchy fog developing. Muggy, lows in the mid-60s. Morning sun mixing with a few more clouds. Sunday afternoon. Humid, highs mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Sunday night. Lows in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and humid on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s. Mostly clear, muggy Monday night. Lows into the upper 60s. I'm Severe Weather Team 9 meteorologist Nathan Schutt.
Dimitri, live and dangerously local. 106.3 The River, River Talk 1430, 94.9, 100.9, and Alexa. Open River Talk, a Dimitri 2020 LLC program. After the 9 o'clock news on the Facebook page of 106.3 The River, Facebook page only, business advice show. Alex Coogan is back on, so we'll have a lot of fun with Alex. Right now, talking with Major General Jeffrey Slosher, U.S. Army retired author of the runaway bestseller, Marathon War, Leadership and Combat in Afghanistan. If you, Jeff, if anybody, any of my listeners knows of someone in Afghanistan who wants to get out, an American, can they somehow get in touch with you without you giving away all the state secrets to help them? Is that even possible?
Well, let me do this, Dimitri. I mean, I'm already being flooded with this, and I don't want to do much more as far as being able to contact me, because what I'm doing is then working with, I'm sending them to the Department of State, and there's a Department of Defense task force. If you don't mind, I can give the telephone number and the
Sure,
contact point.
sure.
So they can go directly to Department of State. It's called the it's a Non-Combatant Evacuation Operations Center. And I've got both the telephone number and the email. And then there's a Afghanistan Non-Combatant Evacuation Operation Call Center for Afghan Coordination Task Force with the Department of Defense. I've got both of those.
All right, just a couple phone numbers. Let's give the phone numbers, then we'll give you the
yeah.
last word. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Department of State hotline for this specific thing is in the United States. If you're in the United States, it's 1-888-407-4747. I say again, 1-888-407-4747. That's if you're not in the United States. If they're outside of it, like in Afghanistan, and have a cell phone, they should call 1-202-501-4444 if they're outside.
All righty.
And that the email address is actf@state.gov.
Once again.
Yeah, ACTF, all capitals, @state.gov.
All righty, terrific. We're just about out of time. Make sure you buy a Marathon War. It is the runaway bestseller. You're welcome. So Jeff Slosher, we've got about a minute for you to speak directly to our listeners. All of our Facebook friends everywhere, tell them anything you want. By the way, if you are free Monday morning, I'm going to be guest hosting on another radio station in another market. I'd like to have you back on to give those listeners the same information that you gave our listeners today. Would you be available Monday morning? I'll work out the details off air, of course. You be available Monday morning?
Yeah, I'm doing a couple shows there, but I'm not flying anywhere that morning. So just let me know. I'm flying that afternoon. But yeah, just drop me a line, Dimitri, and I'll certainly love to help other people.
Absolutely. All right.
No
Great.
so you're going to give me a
ahead.
couple of seconds here. Let me just say that,
Go ahead.
Dimitri, that and to all the listeners out there, there are a number of different people, veterans as well as their family members, as well as the fallen family members who are going, what the hell has happened here? Excuse my language, Dimitri. You know, I'm just an old soldier, blunt guy. And I just want to say that you got to tell these vets, hey, that your service made a difference. You know, our country's been protected for 2 decades from Al-Qaeda, and we gave a whole generation of Afghans a actual hope that they could live like regular people on this planet. That is important. You know, thanking a vet, prop them up, make them feel good, because what they did was extraordinarily important. This chaos is not their fault. And so just say thank you for your service. It was honorable.
Indeed. Buy the book. It's Marathon War, Leadership and Combat in Afghanistan. Major General Jeffrey Slosher, U.S. Army retired. Once again, thank you so very much. I wish you well, and we'll be talking again soon, hopefully better circumstances. Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Whew. My God in heaven, what a mess. All right. Because of all of the problems in Afghanistan, as well as what's going on with our federal government, we're going to be doing something new here on Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local, and that is we'll be ending the show with the Donald Trump anthem, and that is brought to you by, proudly brought to you by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. They have this giant, wonderful, fantastic store in St. Clairsville, Ohio Valley Mall. It's where Toys R Us used to be. And they have a warehouse clothing clearance sale going on right now. And this is no regular warehouse. It's 20,000 square foot warehouse. And they're going to be opening at 10 o'clock this morning. You have got to be there. Listen to some of these incredible values. $5 safety tees. $5 men's work shirts. That's right, $5 men's work shirts. $5 safety tees. $5 men's flannels. That's right, $5 men's flannels. $40 camo jacket. $5 tie-dye shirts. $5 tie-dye shirts. And $1 women's tees. You heard right. Oil and Gas Safety Supply. Mall Road, St. Clairsville, Ohio Valley Mall, where Toys R Us used to be. The warehouse clothing clearance sale. The warehouse is 20,000 square feet. Incredible values. They open at 10 o'clock. And when you go to Oil and Gas Safety Supply, when you reach out to them on Facebook or on their website, or whenever you see the beautiful babes who work there, make sure you tell all of them that, hey, Dimitri sent me. And Oil and Gas Safety Supply is now, starting today, going to be presenting, sponsoring, underwriting, call it what you will, the Donald Trump anthem. We're going to be doing this now, from now on, in light of what's going on in Afghanistan and what's going on in Washington, D.C. You will not be able to hear this on the internet. You can hear it only on these great radio stations that carry Dimitri Live and Dangerously Local. So on the Facebook side, on the internet side, we have to say goodbye. But on the radio side, thanks to Oil and Gas Safety Supply, ladies and gentlemen, the Donald Trump anthem.